Hello again, I'm Catherine. This is the American Withdrawn, and we're going to do Wanda Coleman. Wanda Coleman. For me, Wanda Coleman is definitely someone who's interested in sexual repression on a consciousness raising perspective. I come from, I think most people experience, I think you could say that's something that most people would answer yes to, that they come from a sexually repressive background. My background is a sexually repressive phenomenon, wasn't in the sense of being unable to date people of other nations or other races, or not always have LGBT in my life. Like the sexual repression I experienced was actually an intellectual one. One day you wake up and you start noticing that it's far more often accepted that people have open minds and a lot of sexual freedom instead of a lot of ideas of what sexual restraint is. And so from that perspective, I think you really get the idea that there is a common idea of reading. So in that sense, I think that's what Wanda Coleman is talking about in a lot of her poetry. Whether or not she's talking about herself, if that's an identity, or if it is just Wanda. I think she wants to be this type of character who sees everything about life as an opportunity, and she wants that opportunity also to talk about the publicity of it, to talk about herself as not ashamed and not afraid and not unwilling to make many decisions. I lived in a fairly large metropolis. Considering world's ideas of large metropolis, it's not that big. Considering many ideas of rural, it's quite large, but comparatively, and our experience, really, everything being open. Anybody and anybody at any time, anywhere would come up to you and tell you they love you, that they're interested. I found it just crazy. I thought the whole world had gone crazy, and I could swear that my crazy was feeling like I was the only one that thought about what normal is anymore, and that was my crazy. But Wanda Coleman is someone who just openly admits that if those opportunities were there for her, she just did it. And she uses a lot of derogatory speech in a way that it doesn't really elevate her experience or intellectualize it. And I think a lot of women do need to hear that, because I have met a lot of women that do believe that there's a prestige and an intellectualism about it, and she won't do that for people. She really makes it as kind of Lord of the Flies as it is. A lot about life, fashion. You're exposed or you're covered. You smell or you don't. So that's definitely inherent in Wanda Coleman, that she definitely has that sense of if things are not clean and upstanding, they are not clean and upstanding, and it is something. And she knows to bring that out and to confront people with the idea that that is a phenomenon that we all can understand, whether or not it's programmed or too often accepted because we see it on TV. It's still the case that we all kind of know what that is. So people like Wanda Coleman or Tree the Way, they were both authors that I didn't understand were as popularly used as they are. So that was really helpful, because I definitely like insight into people. For me, I'm someone that has lived in the United States my whole life, and I always find an opportunity to feel like a complete stranger when I'm here. I meet people all the time, and I couldn't possibly know anything about them. So I definitely like that. It's definitely living in a different nation, in a different thought system, and yeah, Wanda is gritty for certain. She's really gritty.